Good morning, everybody. Start with the futures, and we're going to see the futures. They've taken out the pivot targets on the week. Now we're not too sure, but below that, we would be trying to go back down there. So we'll see. We just don't got much targets to go after. So we'd like to see some triangle layout where they slam them up first before dropping them down if they're going to try and do that. NASDAQ, it's going to look the exact same with that big continuation to the downside. If we go to the Russell, which is IWM, still an inside week doing nothing. And then the YM or the Dow Jones is still shooter week in force. So again, we'd like to see them triangle out and then get back to puking. You're going to see in the morning here. This is their broadening formation. So we'll see if that can get bigger. If we can make it this try instead and take those highs out first, that'd be ideal. But we just need to look for a continuation there. We'll start with the gappers here today as well. We got IBM. IBM is going to be gapping 3-day inside bar pattern up. And IBM does have monthly magnitude higher if it holds the gap. You will have CMG earnings opening flat, which is definitely something to know about. You got long green or long red bars in the month there. That's the RTX, which is trading in the defense sector, DFEN, which did come back in yesterday, but defense might try and recover today with RTX earnings. We'll see. Gapping into outside month exhaustion risk. So a lot of just gaps up into recent highs from what I see. Now we'll have the kicking pattern. You see they stopped out anyone that was probably long, and now anyone that's short is going to be definitely underwater, especially if we can stay above these highs up in here. Mark those out. On the downside, we'll have Ford. Wow, right? All the way back through that weekly try. That's something we were talking about closer towards the beginning as far as Ford coming back in, but they do it on earnings. So it's just going to be gapping right into the bottom of its range. But obviously, anyone that's been long, next couple weeks, if it's staying down here, these guys are probably in trouble a little bit. Airlines, American Airlines just gapping down. Love. It's gapping down. It's going to have the week and month in force. ABV will be kicking pattern to the downside. Those are pretty much going to be the two focuses for me in the morning. We got an AZN. Ooh, AZN's going to negate the month and put the month back in force this morning. Also going to be a part of the healthcares. QuantumScape QS, big shooter weekend force. Looks very similar to like AFRM and Upstart. That one's coming back down to here, so it's been a lot lower. We go to ALGN. It's continuation on everything. EW. I don't see anything there. Wow, there's a ton on the gap list today. Jeez. NEM. Meh. Waste management. That's a bit of an issue. So waste management, you could look for this to go outside month after the open. So anytime it's red on the day, you could just short it for about $6. MU for the traders shorten all of the chips, gapping down, coming into 105.72, which is it's about a buck above that prior to the open. Just gonna be your monthly magnitudes, so takes them all out like they should. And you're still gonna have this big old monthly try up in here that you want to definitely know about. So could go a lot lower still. Might get some triangle out there though. PLTR is back into previous range. Just gonna be continuation on the day. Looks like it's 2-2 week reversal to the downside. And that's not moving with any earnings or anything. Then you're going to have all the precious metals. So if we go to any of the stuff from yesterday, you see JNUG reclaims yesterday's highs, did become the outside day for you, and therefore you get to hold a winning position. Now they're gapping down. So anyone that traded that gold stuff yesterday, you're getting what you want because now you got the 2-2 week in force, JNUG, and GDX will also be putting the week shooter in force to start. So we'll see. It's a gap down, so they could turn into a buy, but all the miners and all the gold stuff can be a part of that as well. We got a few minutes to the open here. So I'm going to keep up some of the stuff we were watching yesterday. We'll see if the Utes follow through. XLU. So we mentioned the 60s for the Utes yesterday, and you can see the 2260 creates the winning position. Then you may reduce or just hold break even, and now they're going to be a 2-up continuation on like a 3-hour or 4-hour time frame at the open with the week in force. So we'll see if the Utes turn into the buys that we think it can. The only other thing that potentially could be buys could be staples. And then as far as actionable signals are concerned, we only have about a minute here, but going into last night, the only thing we really saw was a ton of healthcare's inside day. So we can scan and see, do we have any simultaneous inside day breaks in there? But that's gonna be about it. We're gonna look for a lot of continuation stuff and see what we got on the gappers today. So let's get going, and markets will be opening up shortly. I'm loading up my charts as we speak. And then the one with the brackets are the ones that I'm gonna have the most focus on today. Since the market was going down yesterday, NOW is probably the best bet, or at least the first one you want to be looking at. It's going to be opening slightly above the daily exhaustion risk levels. Now, right away, green. CB after an outside day yesterday starts as a 2 down and slightly green. Now coming up into target 1, 806 from 790 open. Looks like Waste Management starts 2 down and green on the day. So I'm going to have 2-2-1ers if they're going to try and do any recovery there. It's nowhere near an outside day, so I think it's going to be kind of difficult to get that outside bar to the upside. Now, boom, there's your magnitude on now for the kicking pattern. And you got one more target just around 820, slightly under it, around 815.27. SPY opening and staying down at the lows. Qs staying down at the lows. SMCI opens at 700 psych, which is one of those pivot targets on the week. I'd love to see them triangle out a little bit and then get puking again. They have an inside oneer currently. There's now 815 now on the kicking pattern. Beautiful. Waste Management is going oneers back up to start the day. Very, very green. It's up $3. Now is the easiest one there. 823 after opening just under 800. Amazing. And now they are getting profit takers, so FYI from that exhaustion risk. That one's moving really quick this morning. You got 3-2 down TXN. TXN 3-2 down in the chips. We mentioned that one yesterday for potentially reconfirming the chips. It's got 3-2 day, 3-2 week. Waste Management on the oneers up a few dollars already. Create the winning position. Put your stops even. You can see 338 instantly. This is why the gaps are great. ABV goes outside day to the downside. Uh-oh. ABV, mind the 2-minute/3-minute outside bar. 3-minute 3-2 setting up ABV. It's already a 3, but PMG on the day. Just big 3 on the gap. Look at this. Down goes TXN. Waste Management hits 210 psych. $4 on Waste Management. Do not let that go red. MU puke. AMD still puke. Again, holding winning positions so important. SPY closer to going 2 down still. It's opening as a 1 still. Qs 2 to the downside. Reconfirming Qs expansion on the week. So puke. And if we look at where the Qs may be going, here's your try. So Qs, it's been a lot lower down into this stuff at 413. You'll want to know about that. Gold and GDX puke on the RevStrat day after yesterday's shorts. They're red and starting the day red. So ABV on the 3, it went 2 down in green and they're going 3 again. So it was too quick for me, but amazing stuff. System sounds on, I'm not sure. Now just dropped $20. What about it? Kicking pattern did exactly what you wanted. 785 to 820 at the top, 815 at the magnitude. CB is still 2 down in green, 325 or CB back through previous range. It's the gapper list from yesterday. And CB, I'd mind the spreads there. It is a little bit more spready. Upstart is at yesterday's lows still, closer to going 2 down on the 60s. So that's good. Waste Management, new fivers open. Second fivers of the day going inside and slightly red. So just FYI, if it goes 2-2, it's an add. If it does not, you either reduce or make sure your stops are even. Uber puking again. Did we talk about it yesterday? We did. 15, 3-2-2, right? Triggers. 60, 3-2. Heavily reduce down in here. And then leave the winning position because they already paid for your position. Beautiful. TXN went triangle out oneers back to the lows. Upstart 2 down on the day. Nice. Reconfirming the weekly shooter in force. Also AFRM going 2 down again. Expansion of the try. So notice this try in here. This try is getting bigger to the downside. This is why you hold winning positions. Eventually the range gets bigger. So now that it's down in here, there is nothing you got to worry about, especially if you got the 15ers in here yesterday, which were the only things we mentioned on Upstart. Now it's a 3 this morning, so it's got to stay down and out of that. But as long as you're not coming back to 2660, should stay good. CB on the 3-2-5ers up a buck. We're slightly late on the mention of that, but rallies $1 afterwards. And obviously this one's a little illiquid, but like we talked about the options yesterday, you can make it work depending on what your position size is and what you're looking to do there. But it is going to be coming into short-term exhaustion risk, 26250 on CB. So protect that position. Waste Management did go inside in red, causing you to reduce. You can see that inside oneer came back in on the second 5 of the day. So mind that inside fiver to either confirm or negate the direction of that day so far. IDBM is reclaiming into yesterday's range. Not quite a 2260 yet, but inside in green. The Utes 2 to the upside again. So there's your natural buying we found out yesterday on the 60s. Staples also at the 2-2 day goes to magnitude. So that's the other natural buying we mentioned on the inside 60s. And you can see in here, boom, 60, bottom of the try. What does that do? Increases the odds of what? Taking that other side of the try up in here. They do. I believe you got what, Coke to the highs. Let's see. Pepsi, not so much. Uber puke. Now with its kicking pattern force going inside on the 5-minute, it would be momentum with the kicking pattern, but it is an actionable signal setting up there. Etsy is also going down again today, confirming the 3-2-2 weekend force. So they go 3-2 reversal, 60 in the morning, Etsy. And you got all 60 to go after that. So you still got 40 minutes to go after that if you're going to try. Yeti is also still getting killed. 3-2 day to the downside. It's a little bit illiquid though. Target is not. So it's still outside of that 3 on the 60, but you can see recovering a little bit. Obviously, Target, though, yesterday, he still got that really nice trade in there. So they triangle some guys out. We'll see. It's going inside day. CB blast through 26250 and still staying up there. So like we say, when you break this 3-2 and you buy it, now it's above these highs. It's got to stay up and out of that. As long as it does, up in there is what we're looking for. And you can see on like a 5-minute basis, this morning 3 of the previous day, this is the broadening formation we're coming back through. So from here to here, as long as it stays up and out. ABV, nice move on the 5-minute 3-2 reversal. You see if we go on that 3-minute, man, right? 2 down in green, inside, and then they blow out the highs. TXN's double inside 5 at low day after taking the day down. The chips. JNUG to the lows still. GDX to the lows still, so not bad. Tesla is bright green on the day today, so Tesla changes what we know to be true inside 4 hour and up to go 2-2 day after a gap down. What could this do? What time of the week is it? Well, it's a Thursday. So if this daily 2-2 were to set up anything, it'd be setting up a hammer for next week. But we got some distance to cover if we're going to do that. So we can be aware of that. But I know a lot of you guys trading Tesla. You probably want to see what that can do. You got this big gap above you, so you'd have to stay up and into that gap, or else there's probably not going to be too much going on. Utes, there's some profit taken near this open. Looks like healthcare is a 3-2 day to the upside, so those are the only things that we see that are strong. DGX, HCA, MOH, and LH. So a lot of healthcares I don't know about. DGX is inside day up, pivot machine gun. So you can still take these guys out for about $5. HCA. That one's actually from the scanner video we put out, but it's already in the magnitude. Ooh, MOH, interesting. Slight profit taking CB. TXN on the fiver. Goes inside 5 up, which negates what we know to be true. Still in this mother bar here, and it's not reclaiming yesterday's lows. Now on the 5-minute is trying to break momentum. And again, it's momentum at the highs. It has a kicking pattern for us, so it could get going, but it's just got to go. It's momentum. ABV expanding still, going 3-2 tenors, confirming those fivers. Outside day and then outside again. Expansion with full time frame continuity back to all-time highs at ABV. You're also going to have 15er outside bars setting up there. Waste management setting up inside 5 down. So like we said, that fiver confirm or negate, it's negating. What do? You flip short, try and take the low a day out. Then if that works, you have a red month for the potential 3-month. So waste management is coming back. And those 202.5 puts, I don't think are pricing that in at all. New 15s, ABV, 3-2-15 gapper guys, expando. And when we say we're taking 3-2s, a lot of people think, I can't buy that. Well, if it stays above that, the second that's green, you can take it. If it comes back 9 cents below, you just get out. You can do that a few times, but just has to stay 2, not become failed 2. CB, momentum hammer 5 or CB. Potential add if you're going to do that. And that's going to trigger 3-2-15 on CB because it occurs on that second 15 of the day. And same thing applies here. So now that we have that outside bar on the 15er, must stay out of that. If that goes slightly red, we don't know. It could take out both sides of that 3. So it has to stay up there. Now there's high day now. So I know it's not the biggest move in here, but now $6 winning position. If that can get going, you're good. If not, you might have to get out. And the reason momentum is less explosive normally is because there's not really any shorts with stops at high day at this point. It's just been going up today. So buyers have to take the offer and step up. It's full time for counting you up. There's a chance, but we'll see. ABV on the 15er, boom, up they go. Instantly a $1.40 winning position, break even the stop. It's a 3-2, it should just go. Waste management does open an inside 15er, so they firm up a little bit after the fibers down, but the fibers are still 2 down, so they're trying. Now is double inside oneers after high day. I'd mind that if you're going to be making sure that doesn't come back in on you. CB after the 3-2 up, not working, so just no go there. So I was able to take one contract CB 590 to 667, and then I added and then gave back, like, I think most of that, maybe made $10 or something, but that's fine. If it went outside day, it would have made a lot more, so it doesn't matter to me. Now to the highs. Inside oneer resolves higher, so now we'd like to see them stay up and out of this stuff. If they start reclaiming this, we might stop out these guys in the morning here. ABV, looks like they're stopping some guys out on the oneers right now. TXN 2 up 5 again, which reconfirms that inside 5 and up. So they are trying to recover that 3 on the day. Still red though. CB, you might have the oneer triangle layout if you want to reattempt the 2-2 oneers to re-break that outside bar. Goog outside month, how do we know? Boom, PMG. Takes them all out. Good mention, Chuck. Gotta go update the Twitters. There's your 2-2 oneer CB from the bottom of the try. Oh, you know what's really silly is I bought TXN calls on accident this morning, so they're actually going back to even, and they were previously down. So, interesting. It's the second time I've done that this week. It's very awkward. CB about to make the high day, and that's going to re-break 325er, 3215. If that works on the 221er. And you can see it's as simple as look at we have a period of control. CB full time from continuity up, and then slight lower low 2-2 reversal right there. Waste management getting stuck inside, going 2-2 on the 5 minute, so that firms up inside 15. Before, when it was still 2 down 5er, we had some evidence it was going lower, but now we don't. Now did poke in a high a day and then pull back a little bit. Still trading right at that 1 minute equilibrium at the highs. CB is getting ready to pop morning highs again. CB is about to do it there. There's your 3-2, boom. So you can see, you take the 1 minute in here, and then it explodes up in here where you can add to it and not risk your money. And now if it stays up and out of that, good. If it starts coming back, you have to get out. Waste management pulls like $5 off the high, or not waste management now. So they did reclaim that equilibrium. Now they're stopping some of the guys out from it. Go on the 15 minutes, just a little doji at the highs right now, slight shooter. We got 8 minutes to the next flip though, so we'll see. Gold going to low day. GDX does 15 the hammer, or hammer the 15. Same with JNUG, hammers the 15 and does reverse. So notice how they're trying to change control. 60-day, month, quarter guys on the gap down. So mind the flip of the continuity there in the miners. Gold is still red though. TXN, after testing yesterday's lows, gets rejected. 2 up in red on the 5 minute, pivot machine gun back down potentially. You see now they stop out the lows of that equilibrium, and now 221 are back up. ABV is still 3-2 on the 15er, and you're going to see closing up about $2 as we get about 7 minutes closer to the close of those 15s. And you can see ABV, just buy it, throw the stop down in there. Now it's really dancing around up those highs. Comes back in again, back to Doji 15 again. TXN will have the 15 setting up with that after that fiber does. So at high a day now, you see they are countering that 1 minute equilibrium. We technically have this inside tenor, so you can see they go 10 minutes inside, poke up. They are coming back in. They're not reversing these guys yet. We'll keep an eye on that though. System sounds on. Sorry about that. If it's the Discord alerts, I thought I turned those off. Now is starting to pull it back, so FYI. ABV to the highs. Boom. $2.80. And that's on the 3-2-15. If you're quicker in here on the 3 minute, you got it way down in there, and that's $7. But Yeah, so on my stream on YouTube, my desktop audio is turned off. What's playing? Is it just the sounds from... My system sounds are all the way off. You can turn Discord down. I don't know if it's that, but you can see it right there. System sounds are off. Discord alerts. My phone? No. Discord alerts. Yeah, well, I turned Discord down, so I guess we'll see. Let me throw my headphones in so I can hear what you guys hear when it happens again. ABV to the highs. CB. Did we know about that? We did. Get right back in there. And you may ask, Alex, why do you stop out and get back in? Well, if that 3 changes, we have to get out. If it changes again, we get back in. That 221er made it change again, so we get back in. Don't make it any more hard than it's got to be. Hughes is still getting absolutely wrecked, down another 3 on the day, and still going outside month. And we've known about that, haven't we? Yes, 447.90 Qs. And again, this is exactly why when you get things nice and red, like the 2-2 week last week, and it closes down at the lows, you have no reason to get out. 2 to the downside this week, and they're still confirming the outside month. And that means TXN on the fiver, 2-2 down TXN, setting up the shoot 15 TXN. You got the 2-1 shooter 15, 3-2 day expansion. Three minutes to the second 30s of the day. You're going to mine that 30 flip. You're going to mine it on ABV. You're going to mine it on now. You're going to mine it on TXN with the 15er. I haven't looked at many of the other gappers in here. You see Whirlpool, really nice moves. And whenever we say flat, anyone that's looking at this and is like, what does that mean? That means you're going to get the move right after the open. So they open Whirlpool, first one are up, second one are decouples, boom, inside bar reversal. Kill it, flip long on this one, then you get that side too. And you can see it's moving 4% in 10 minutes. So not a bad thing there. And then CMG is similar, except it goes momentum in the morning, 2-2 makes high day, inside bar brings it back in, and then they get stuck in here. You can see now they did take the highs and come back in, so they might take these guys all out. But hopefully that makes sense. Whenever it's opening flat, normally get the move right after the open. IBM had the very nice inside day up, and we said that sideways 3-day pattern back up. So for anyone that was playing that, there's your 2-2-2 on the fiver and did that. Not bad. VKTX, momentum, and coming back in. Keurig Dr. Pepper is momentum 15 hammer to the highs with the month 2 going 3, and that's with the staples XLP, which is a 2-2 day today. And again, we picked up on that rotation yesterday in the staples, and notice they're blasting the top of the try with our inside 60 signal still good. Not bad. The Utes are still holding up. So again, that rotation into the defensive sectors, utility, staples, and normally that also includes energies, but not quite. And I forget who asked, I think it was Drea asked that we trade just gappers and then just whatever universe over and over. And I mean, the last 2 days, we've pretty much just been looking at the gaps and indexes. So hopefully you guys see what the gaps can give you as far as just taking reversals at the open. Looks like the airlines also had a nice gap down by. You see AAL gap down in 3 from exhaustion risk. and then they're back into it after going 3. So broadening formation, flip short, broadening formation. Waste management, 5ers down on the second 30 of the day. Could cause inside 15 and down, which would reverse the morning stuff. Semis back to the lows still. SMCI still at the lows. Notice 671, they're pretty much there already. Ugh. I pretty much missed out on $3,000 there. It's kind of on me for not getting enough to be able to manage that position correctly, but it's a little sad. CB does triangle out the 5-minute a little bit. You can see it is 225er down. And that's on the 30 flip. So notice, and this is why it's so important with the gaps, especially 3 on the 30 and then inside red back into it. That is something we got to know about, because that is a 3 on the 30-minute. It's a broadening formation. So when that changes, you got to be very aware of that. Ab V's going inside 30 and slightly red. 3-1 on the 30 and slightly red on Ab V. PXN is green on this flip, so no shorts. Marvel is taking out its RevStrat month magnitude. So we had that nice 3-2 day in here, and now it's taking it out like we expected. We got MU, or not MU, QCOM. Still 2-2 month and gunning towards its magnitude. AMD, did we tell you this? Yep, there's 141.16. Why do you not take profit at 153.34? Because the magnitude's bigger than that. And then this is going to cause the quarter inside down here below 141.16, making it more likely to actually test the other side of this range on AMD. We'll have to see if it stays down there, but you can see Womp takes them all out. You can see XLK Techs going for that outside month. Hughes going for the outside month. SPY going for the outside month. So this is all something we get kind of know about. Dow Jones, not so much, but shooter on the week still. Looks like they did triangle out this morning. Even IDBM is going 15ers back down on the 30 flip, trying to 3-2-2 the 30, which would negate the weak green to red IDBM. You can see the 60 would set up outside or a shooter too. TXN triangle out on the 1 minute. Potentially that 1er triangle out could cause the 30s or the 15s to go in 4s. This 1er trying here. Upstart almost up $1,000 on a $466 position. Not bad. DB after triangle out 5er is trying to recover, so we'll see. How much evidence do you have that tech's going up is the question. Look at the semis on the 60. Is that going up? No. We want shorts, which is why all last week was talking about those shorts with once they start going in force. Now they're all reconfirming this week, which is the only reason we even have it up, is because we already have all those other short positions. We want to see if TXN starts joining the party and puking too. Like, look at NVIDIA in here. NVIDIA 2-2 month down. What's happening there? AMD down. QCOM puke. MU puke. And this is the thing. If we go and look at the scans, are we buying in the tech or are we selling? Well, let's go on the month. How many 2s do we have in tech? To the downside. 16. Two's up, 75. So it's not all of tech, right? I wish I could look at semiconductors because it's mostly those semis. But we can also go 2 up on the month with bearish continuity, which has another 10 to the downside. And there's not too many, semiconductors in here, but it's mostly semis. So if we had that sector in here, we could do that. But if we look at in-force signals, you can see all the semis: AMD, ADI, MCHP, Marvel, AVGO, LRCX, MU, NXPI, QCOM, SMCI, TER, all the semiconductors to the downside. Staples off your 2-2 day are ripped back through that daily range. Now we don't know. Maybe it makes the high, maybe it doesn't, because there's still an inside week. The Ute still confirming the inside week up for the swingers, which confirms that monthly rev strat. So you got that magnitude to go for. Yeah, you can scan for threes, totally. You have to use current candle 3, so you have to scan it before the flip. JNUG on the 15er. Yeah, nice. 15-2-2 confirms 3-2 day. You can see if you're going to short a gap down, poke up, and then poke back down. This is how you do it. Same GDX, except inside. Then gold, nothing. Come on, CB, do the fivers back up for me. Target really took out some of the shorts from yesterday, reclaiming those previous lows up in here. Look at this, guys. This is just fantastic. I'm right here. You got twos and twos going 3, everything down. There's there's not much to say besides let them go like we told you to do. And if you didn't, you got nothing going into today, then I don't know what to tell you. And while the market pukes, AbbVie closer to going 33 twos up. Like, I remember a very lengthy discussion about holding AMD from 167.5. Right up in here off the fiver. Why? Why not? Bright red. AbbVie to the highs. Rip. 325er. Got $4 on that one. SMCI takes them all out on the monthly rev strat, takes the inside quarter down. SMCI done. I don't think that's coming back. That's gonna be pretty hard to change. The month on obviously Nvidia still puking. MU takes them all out. QCOM still has magnitude to go. And notice they set this really red continuity in the morning. Now all of those chips that are listed here, all those things you want to see those go all day. So get on those fivers if you can. I'll try my best to see what we can get there. But Affirm is also still getting wrecked. Upstart still getting wrecked. And then Utes for the buyers, still good for you. And Staples, yep, still good for you there too. Got them up, got them down. Let them rip. CB is sideways tenor, inside and up, momentum. I'm going to quickly grab a clip off here for Twitter. But this is from the weekend video last week. Just notice. Very specific, exactly why we're looking at that. And then once it starts going, this is why we say you hold winning positions. You on the week. Once that week starts really going down below 129.7, they're done because you got the month going. And you can see they take all of these guys out, and now you have a winning position. So if they're going to puke these by taking the quarter down MU pivot machine gun down into 47, you have it up there, 130, and you cause that to happen. So you can leave even one contract or move into further contracts and then let this rip to the downside. And if it doesn't, so be it. You already made your money from here. So very, very beautiful stuff. And if you're trying to pick up on Alex, like, how do we do the swing trading? Go look at the weekend vids. Every weekend vid's talking about weekly signals. And you see these are all the chips. Every single chip's going to the downside right now. There's a few inside 15s there that we probably could have got. NXPI, MU, QCOM, Intel. But is what it is there. PXN closer to 30s back down, which would confirm what the chips are already doing. Oh, this is the wrong one. My bad. You can see a lot of them did firm up on this new flip here intraday. CB is a beautiful one from the fiver if you're able to hold that running position. If you got the re-entry down in here, it's also good, $3. AbbVie still at the highs, good. Gold still at the lows. JNUG about to make the lows. Same with GDX. CB momentum hammer 15 confirms 3230s. Best way to enter the ES move. Well, if you're a futures guy, it would have been on the 2-2 that occurred overnight. But if you're talking about this morning specifically, where'd we open? 8:30 we opened. They poke down, go inside bar right here. That would have been the best way. And then you cover when this goes hammer against you here. VIX is still a 3-2 week all week. So you got today and tomorrow. But what we got to be aware of is SPY is short-term exhaustion here. So you mind the potential change in 30-60 continuity in 13 minutes, because that could turn into 60 and then short covering. Notice when we talk about the big grind lower, when you have full time frame continuity, this grind's fine, right? You want them to triangle out and then they get puking with the 30s yesterday. But once you hit exhaustion risk, this big grind turns into pivot machine gun if exhaustion risk turns into change in continuity back to the previous range. So that second 60 of the day, if they were to negate what we knew to be true, we might stop those guys out. But we're currently closer to just going inside. Uh-oh. Oh, you know what? Oops. I recorded that on my stream. It did not record the sound. You have to redo that. But TXN, slight poke up. Shooter fiber set up for the 30 down. Dow Jones, while market's puking, very green inside day so far. So industrials, we're seeing a little bit of a change, at least in comparison to the rest of this stuff. DE, 2-2-day PMG, yeah, that's a little bit of a change. 385 magnitude, currently under 380. DE. Like regional banks are gunning for it, 3-2-30s for the outside day regionals. Financials are also holding up a little bit better. Materials are a gap down buy today. Interesting. It's got an outside 33-1 in the XLB materials. Upstart does come back into the morning range a little bit. They might stop some guys out. CB, you are closer to a 5 or down, which would negate what we're trying to do there. Now 5-minute PMG, yeah, 222 now 15er. 222 confirms the daily signal. We only got 9 minutes on that though. There will be an inside 30 cooking on now if that's unable to make high day. CB goes 225 against. I'm going to re-record this quick. And let me filter by direction so we can remove duplicates. But in here, you got MU inside week. So that's going to be the weakest chip that we got. If we go here, MU did not rally last week. So if chips are going to start coming back in, this is where we'd want to be because you take the shooter month down below this. So we'll keep an eye on that. So you can see a lot of the chips, they're firming up a little bit on this flip after a lot of monthly magnitudes got hit, like SMCI and MU. And so TXN might have this shooter 15 and a shooter 30. ABV, slight profit takers at the highs. CB still stopping them out, going outside 15er. Hey, or XLP after hitting all the daily pivots, we don't know when they start coming back in a bit. The Utes do 215 against. They're still just holding up the day and the week, though. They did hit exhaustion risk, weekly magnitude. So slight higher high Utes, and then they do come back in. Healthcares, those are still, they've made new highs. It's the only sector full time from continuity up. HCA really got moving. Wow. AbbVie's good enough, though, right? Myrna's got a nice 2-2 day. Myrna. So healthcares, we can pick that out as a rotation. So Myrna, this is something we want to know why. Well, look at it. Slight lower low, 2-2 day. Boom, 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 boom. Pivots to take out. So if you get confirming signals in this stuff, this could cause a 3-2 or maybe a 3-1-2 and up through all those guys into 129. So that goes on the observations list. And you got natural selling in DX or in LLY while everything rallies. Pfizer also still has quarterly 2-2 in the healthcares. So that's one thing we mentioned for the quarterly guys. And obviously that takes a very long time, but they're still working on that one up in there. NVAX is also still looking pretty strong for the yearly participant, above 1370. Some of those longer term investment type details or deals that we've talked about. And yeah, so I guess to expand on this, well, wait for the next 60 flip. I was talking about Ripple XRP yesterday. I genuinely believe it will be probably one of the leading cryptos as far as it's concerned when we go to digital currencies, because everyone already knows they want digital currencies globally, right? Every government wants it to track things, and people, you already use your debit card, you don't use cash, at least most people don't, and tap to pay and all this crap where it's already digital. Like your dollar's already digital, if that makes sense. But they're gonna have to get rid of the dollar at some point if they keep printing money. So what I'm thinking is XRP. It's designed as a replacement for SWIFT, which is the U.S. system for dollar transfer and transferring dollars between countries and parties across the globe, right? So my thought is this: well, you don't really know which crypto is going to be the big crypto winner, but the thing that is going to replace Swift, if that's their whole plan, they're going to be a winner no matter what crypto wins, right? If they're going to be at kind of the forefront of transferring money across the globe digitally. So I'm thinking XRP as far as like we were talking, like if the dollar is going to crash, what's the best investment? Like, do you buy land? Do you short the dollar, which doesn't make sense because you get paid in dollars, right? So like even if the short plays out, you lose buying power. So like none of that makes sense, but I think XRP actually makes a lot of sense. And with the price it's currently trading at, it's currently 60 cents. Um, I think we just zoom out, $3, even $3 seems really low to me if it's going to be what they say it's going to be. So this is actually where I'm going to put and park a lot of my money going forward, and I've been searching for something to do that with. So I figured I'd let you guys know that if you're interested in I guess like an alternative investment that would not be as affected by currency collapses negatively. Uh, that's kind of where I'm sitting, if that makes sense. And this would be like a 10 to 20 year kind of time horizon, if that, uh, before I would like reevaluate. But I think it makes a lot of sense. So I don't know if you guys want to chat about that, if you guys have any ideas there, but that's what I'm going to do personally. Like even like a couple $100 a month in there for the next couple of years would, I think, be a very smart investment. Because like imagine you get it's like Apple. What do you use to buy crypto? What I want, well, this is what I want to do. I want to get a hardware wallet, so something I can physically hold. I don't want it to be on an exchange. I don't want it to be in someone else's hands. I don't want anyone to be able to take it from me. So that's my plan. I haven't quite set it up yet. I'm going to be doing that sometime this week / this weekend. And I haven't really touched crypto since Bitcoin in like 2013 or something. So this is give me my first time going back into it. TXN 30's back up, so it is trying to recover that 3. If you go to semis on the second 60 flip, they do firm up inside bars. So anything taking out morning highs in the semis would be a long if you're going to try and squeeze the shorts there. Utilities get stuck inside bar. Staples do have an outside 15, but stuck inside 60. SPY starts as an inside 60, but hammer on the 60. Q's very much stuck inside 60. Does have a 30 hammer offload day on the 60 flip, though, so that could change things. Same with SPY. You got the 30 hammer back into the morning 3. You want to know about that. Changes what we know here. Anytime it's above this stuff. ABV, mine the 60 flip, changes what we know. Fivers, 15ers back in. Reduce, reduce, reduce. CB as well. 3-2 down on the 15-minute. If it recovers into the 3, we could try it back again. But since it's not yet, that looks really bad for us. Stuck inside 60. Do I still have that Bitcoin? No, and this is why I'm going hardware wallet, but because the exchange I was using, I forget what it was called. It was one of the first like big Bitcoin exchanges back when I was in freshman year of high school. They got hacked and they took all my Bitcoin. I have none of it. The crazy thing is, even before that, when I was in like 7th, 8th grade, I was so interested in like all the emerging tech like Tesla and crypto. I told my family, I was like, this Bitcoin thing, even if you just a little bit, just buy like a few of them, and it could be crazy. And they didn't quite care. Now you got the inside 30 on the 60 flip, and thanks for the mention, Sarah. Got it. SPY still opening as an inside 60. Q's still opening dead inside 60. Dow is closer to up, but opening as a 1. Same with IDBM opening as a 1. So you got inside day IDBM Dow Jones to start the day. It's going to be, we'll see. Like they're starting pretty green on that stuff. So there's a chance they could become 2s pretty simply. But that's going to be dependent on the second 60. If we're just going to get stuck, half the market's an inside day at that point, and then you'll see the semis firmed up inside bars. So we don't got too much to do there. On the gap list, we can rip through it quick. Waste management's a bit stuck in there. You got an inside 30. AZN did gap down by, but notice nowhere near an outside day. So that one's going to be coming back in a bit. IBM gets stuck on the 60. HON gets stuck on the 60. American Airlines with the big 3. They're going inside 30 up, 312 AAL back through a previous range on the gap down buy. So anytime it's above 1068 for the smaller account guys. Love does not have that going. Jets might have a 3260, but that'd be about it. You do have a nice big try in there. Bright green day. So you don't got many signals in there. It's really only American Airlines. You don't got Delta doing anything. Alaskan Airlines isn't doing much. So you don't got much evidence on that. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It's in force right now. Keurig Dr. Pepper, you had a nice 60 flip with the 30s. Negates the day. It's already an outside week, so that's occurring at the top of the outside week broadening formation on KDP. Go back to silver dollars. We simply, I mean, like think about it this way: we can't. We don't have enough wealth to own enough silver to do that, which is like kind of a sad thing to say, but it's true. Yeah, Tom, maybe we could like this is something I'm truly like I'm truly going to be investing in, and I'm going to learn more about it going forward, but it's the one thing I've found where it's like if you have a gold rush, you want to sell the shovels, and I think XRP is going to be selling the shovels, or maybe selling the transportation of the shovels. But maybe we could sit down and we could go through it and teach everyone else how to do it too. Yeah, we don't got too much to do on this flip. Maybe Dow Jones could have a 15er to get going. I don't have a good read on what's relatively strong in there yet. There is like Goldman Sachs. You could get the 3-3 day. Does have a 3,260 right now in the Dow Jones, but above 491.13. You could get 496. Goldman Sachs. American Airlines does tap the morning highs on the 30. Yeah, I think XRP is going to be like from current prices, 1,000x. If it's as big as I think it could be. You would not identify KDP as a rev strat. You'd identify it as a 2-2 reversal on the 30. On the 15, you have a 1-3-2, which you could call that a rev strat. The 1-3 is a rev strat, and then the 3-2 is the continuation of that. Upstart after some triangle out of the morning, guys, goes tenors back down. Upstart still does have a weekly magnitude. It's nowhere near 2 down to 60, though, or a 30. It's like target's coming back down too, but still an inside day. Hey, everybody from YouTube. Yeah, MNMD. Take a look. Yeah, if you guys have anything in the YouTube chat, you can let me know. I have not been looking at it, but now that things are slowing down a bit, we can start talking. Selling timber, pretty much hands on. VIX shooter 30. Ouch. Yeah, they brought it in off the highs a bit. Now, so this is one thing we've been waiting for. We were talking about it not long ago, but the short UVIXy trade, because we know VIX, and this is one of Rob's favorite trades, it always goes to zero, right? So it's a good short. I personally don't have, like, I'm not gonna be able to sell shares short on this stuff, but once we start seeing it go roll over with a daily change in weekly continuity, hopefully, kind of like up in here. So they're going up on the week, and then it starts rolling over, change in the week, and now it's going back to new lows. Once we start seeing that, if we do anytime soon, I want to go and short that. And from my limited back testing on those options, you can get like a 200 or 300%er pretty risk free if you go like a month out. So month or two out, ideally. So I'm going to try and do that. I'm not going to go super big on the first one, but figure out how that all works. Buying the hourly hammer, you could. The only thing is, are you going to change the month and week continuity? That's the question. Since we've gone into this short-term exhaustion down here on SPY, what we want to see is we want them to poke up and then set up to go down again if they're going to keep puking. But right now, since it's reclaiming that, we would say if this becomes hammer, or let's say goes inside 60 up, we could take out some of these guys, but I don't know if that's going to be a longer term bottom or if it's just going to be short term triangle out and then right back down. Good morning. Take on Apple. So Apple, we mentioned this one as a short from the 3-2 week yesterday morning, but you can see that's still following through. As far as signals go, though, you got this broadening formation from the 60 cooking up, and now we're stuck inside of it. So our question would be, first of all, how are we getting out of this? Which right now it's 15, back through previous range to take these guys out. At least it's trying to. Does have a 3-2-2 on the 30, so where's it going? It's trying to go up there for 220 on an Apple. SPY is re-breaking a 30, still inside 60. Q's rebreaks a 30 as well, still inside 60, but simultaneous for now. IDM, Dow Jones are not participating. I just got a phone call from the dealership, so give me 1 sec here. Awesome. My Audi is done at the shop today. I'm going to have to get a ride there. 322 ABV back into the morning 3. This is where things get interesting. If you're below that stuff, the only thing is when you're doing this on the second 60 flip, you're an inside 60. So that 30 is the only thing in control to the downside, which means that has to stay 2 to the downside, or else you're not going down there. So you got 18 more minutes, and then you got the next 30 open. That'll have to confirm that. But you can see that 15er shooter on the flip, second 60 red, like we said, partial, because that morning outside 60 is a 3. So when you go 3, and then this breaks down at the highs with the change in 60 continuity, you're back through a previous 3 with red continuity, which causes this problem here. SPY on the 30s is trying to get to its magnitude. Same with Qs. It's like Microsoft's doing that too with Apple. So you got some of the bigger tech trying to recover. NVIDIA's doing that. AMD's doing that with the chips. SMH is doing that in the chips after that exhaustion risk down there, going outside, or actually I think it was, going outside on the month. So now that we have the 3 on semis, if we reclaim 23902, they could go back into that 3 with just the 60 and day continuity. So this is something we'll want to be definitely aware of since they made the new high and the new low to last month's range. ABV starting to come back in a little bit harder here. It's got to stay below that 30 though. Did move about $1 so far, so we would not want to have a stop above our entry at that point. We'd want to even. DE becomes 3260 anytime it's above 379.44 with the daily 2-2 reversal PMG magnitude around 384.20. DE. Looks like CAT also does that, but goes inside 15, so got nothing going there yet. TXN on the 30-minute basis does reclaim yesterday's 3, so not my favorite long in there, but in the chips, it would be 2 going 3 into a 3 if it changes. On the 60-minute basis, it'd become a rev strat. Upstart, thank you actually for reminding me. I'm going to have to reduce it right now. So the fact that it's 2 down and green in here, this is where we start reducing. Doesn't mean you have to be all out because that's not reversal, but would want to reduce. And I give back like probably $200 there, but so be it. So thank you for the reminder. I meant to do that earlier today. Yeah, ABV inside 1 or during the 30. Reconfirms. SPY 30 breaks the 60 on the rebreak of the 30 signal. So you have the winning position. Now it's negating the first 60 of the day. Anyone short today, that changes what they're doing. If it's above this, 541.34, they turn into buyers. If you go on the ES futures, you can see exactly what's going on. They go very much sideways. You can see this equilibrium forms up in here. They did break it lower, and obviously it's a chop shop because this is momentum. And now they're reclaiming that break. If you go to US 100, you'll see it a little better. So you can see 3-3 in the morning and then 2 down in green back into a 3. So it's trying to 3-3-3 at this point. Now, the problem with this is we're going from exhaustion risk, so we can do that. But at this point, the weekly sellers are much more aggressive. The daily sellers are in control because the day is red, and the month is a 2-up in red. So every time frame is confirming the downside besides the 60. So since the 60 is the lowest major time frame, it has immediate control. Given that it's green, it's like, well, it is getting rejected right now. It's just we don't have much evidence on that. It's only the 60 group. So the 60 determines what's going on next today. CB on the 60 flip is still coming in. We have no 322s back up or anything. So looks like CB is a dud for now. 322.30 back down, similar to ABV. Oh, and my bad. I didn't see your full question about Upstart. If you're in it for weekly magnitude, you'd want to cover at the bottom of the try. So if you created this winning position, maybe you partialed with me, that's fine. But now that's made the new highs. As long as that week doesn't go 2 up next week, doesn't reverse, it's still trying to go down there. Right now, we just have the daily and 60 guys taking some profit this morning. But this, like this 5 in here, it could turn into 322, could turn into RevStrat 15, could turn into 32260 or something. We'll see. The only thing is, since the market is trying to firm up, we want to see the market go back down if we're going to get Upstart to start puking again. For now, we're not seeing Dow Jones going up at all. Neither IBM, it's inside 60, both of those. SPY did not keep the 60 in force, so 30s work, take their targets out, but didn't do much else. So we'll see if it sets up again. VIX goes 3-3-60 in the morning. So the 3 is great because it's a broadening formation. So how are we getting out of this thing? We're closer to a 3-2 down. You can see they poke the lows, buyer steps up, poke the highs, seller steps up, poke the lows. Now what? We can draw it like this. So like right now they're at the bottom of that. That could get bigger if they stay down and out. And that normally will cause SPY to rally. So they're trying to re-break that 60. We'll see. Q's not so much yet. We're still trying. Just don't see the Dow going up or the IBM. Semis go 2-2 or 3-2-260 SMH. That's a flip long for the intraday guys, SMH. And what we could do here is we can use a Strat Bootcamp, our Strat Alerts website. And since we know semis are negating, we can scan for anything doing that with continuity, or we can just scan for anything 60 in force to the upside. So you go in force, 2 to the upside on the 60-minute in tech. So you got 11 of those. Notice it's all chips. So a lot of chips, just insta recovery, 322s on the 60. ADI, Intel, MCHP, ON, Cuervo, SWKS, and TSM. Then TXN is close to that RevStrat off the 30. And that's not my preferred trade on TXN again, but since chips are strengthening up, it's just what's going on. And it negates the day. So TXN on the daily, 3, poke down, 2 down in green. That's potential 3 to there. Anytime it's above that, just got to see those 60s get moving. And ABV still puking, staying down at the lows there, so that's good. And if we were going to go and buy the strength in the chips, like the strongest things we could find, it would be stuff that is taking out the yesterday's highs. So anything 2 up on the day, which we'll scan next. And the reason that is because anything stronger will be a 2 to the upside as it's going up today. The weaker things will be 2s going 3 to the upside today. So 2 up on the day as far as chips go. Doesn't look like we have any. So every single chip has just failed 2 going 3 on the day, at least attempting to try and do that. If we go and look at my chips scans in here, you'll see this. So you can see, boom, ARM takes the morning guys out. Any shorts in ARM have to get out. MU, about to do that as well. Marvel's about to do that. Intel's already doing that. ON is already doing that. QCOM is not too far from it. TSM's already doing that. SMCI is already doing that. So SMCI right from monthly magnitude change with that 15 in the morning, and then they come back through. I think I'm definitely missing a few up here. There's things like TSM. TSM's doing that. ADI is doing that. ARM is doing that. So notice every chip doing that. So we can go and pretty much buy any of those or all of those, and then we can see, does that keep confirming? We don't have to be the hero in there, but we got the rest of the day to see if that daily continuity plays out well for us. So there's your semis going, SMH sector. SPY on the 60, 2-2 reversal. Qs, not quite yet. The Dow is still weak. IDBM firms up, inside 15 up. Takes the 62 up again. So IDBM, that's where the true buying is as far as we can identify. But we'd want to go for 2 ups in the IDBM. Currently, we cannot scan within an index. We can only scan by sector. So like the best thing we would be able to do is like scan for small market caps, but we can't scan only small market caps. So just a few functionality things that we're still needing as far as being able to scan within indexes, but that's the analysis if you guys want to do that scanning yourself. TXN is about to break the RevStrat 60 PMG. Q's about to take the 60s up, 2-2. Right from the 30 re-break. You can see it works very nicely. And like we were saying before, now notice we're back into this 3. So if they're going to 465.86, we could take out these guys as well and really squeeze those shorts. So if we go to the VIX, notice VIX, see how that tries expanding to the downside? That's why this is occurring, because volatility is collapsing, and this causes short covering. It also means options premiums come down on the SPY puts and whatnot, which means everyone that's holding puts the past couple days, they're going to have to start getting out, or at least that's what they're doing right now. We'll just have to see if we get that follow through. What we don't see is the Utes. You can see they went 2-2 off the highs back through previous range, so that's a problem in the utilities, not seeing those buyers stick around. They do triangle out on like a 15 basis / 5 basis. The staples also did not hold up after daily magnitude. Healthcares didn't hold up either with AbbVie, obviously crater. Not sure about the other ones. Looks like HCA is still holding up. Right now, AbbVie does firm up slightly going inside Fiverr. And the reason we're looking at those smaller time frames instead of like just the 30 is because the 60 is not in control. So the 30, 15, and 5 groups are in control. So those 3 time frames become very important. In about 34 minutes, we'll get an additional 60 flip at 10:30. It is Thursday, so we don't got any energy numbers or anything. We might have some news coming out. Take a look. It'll tell us in the strat bot or in the strat chat, but let's see. Yeah, it looks like most of the news came out at 8:30 today, so we'll see if anything's alerted. It's actually really neat. I use this all the time. I don't know how many of you guys would find it useful, but in the premium chat, we get all of these launched out every day, and it's just so useful because I'm always looking at it. Now goes 30s inside up now, confirming the daily signal. It is momentum though, so you got to be very careful with that stuff. Either going smaller or just not entering on momentum, which would mean you let that triangle out. And the reason momentum's a little more risky is because anyone long and now today, they're long, right? There's not going to be much stops sitting up at these highs because we haven't had any new lows. And when you make new lows, that's when people are getting short, right? So it does pull off the highs. Maybe there's some shorts with stops up here. But what we want to see is make the new low. So everyone's like, oh, it's going down now. And then you blow everyone out. So we don't have that there, momentum. ABV does go 225, which changes control intraday against the 30, changing the 15 group. So notice the 30 is 2 down in red, so it's in control. And then the 15 goes green and the 5 goes green and 2 up on the 5. So that changes control during that 30. And the 60 is a 1. So control on the 60-day week month basis has not changed. It's still making higher low. So they're getting a little stuck inside on that 60 now. DE is still 3260 to the upside, even though Dow Jones is going down. It's got that PMG it's still working on. Does look like Cat's also doing a little bit similar. It's a little weaker there, though. So what I see when I look at the charts here is a lot of inside bars. So another way you use the scan site, especially intraday, and we said this in the video we put out a week or two ago, is you can scan the current candle. So we go current candle looking at the indexes. We got 8 inside bars: financials, staples, real estates, JNUG, Nugget, Qs, communications, and then Dow Jones. So all these inside 60s will become in-force signals once they break 2. Then we got a half hour until that changes. So there's not much we can do there. You can see SPY on the 2260 as predicted. There's your 30s and breaking the 60 for the ad if you were going to do that. Now it's 60 magnitude. Now we're back into some of these guys. So that is going to be something we want to know about. 546. 546.18 is the last pivot target on SPY 60 until 549. So mad Q's took my runner puts. Now I'm stoked. That's fine. ABV sets up 2215 and firms up. So that 15 directly counters what we know to be true on the 30. So there's just, it's not going down. It's inside 60. 15 is 2 to the upside. And that does occur with continuity up. No 30 or 60 continuity, but 15 day, week, month. The only thing is now, since they're forming that 3160, we need to see the 312, and we're nowhere near a 2 up or down unless that 15 really gets moving. SPY is like a penny off of taking the 60 magnitude. Dow Jones, hammer 15 back up as well. It's going to help DE get moving. So DE reconfirms with the Dow to the upside. And since DE is already going up and then Dow Jones reverses, it gives you more evidence DE should just keep going since it was already going higher. Maybe CATS as well, a little weaker, but PMG you can see through previous range. There's also GS in there in the Dow, inside 15 up. So notice Dow went 2 down. GS went inside, so GS is slightly stronger. Since it gapped intraday, it's got to stay up above that inside bar's highs, but it's also reconfirming the Dow. Coke is also reconfirming the Dow at the 15s. Looks like KDP did take out the morning lows for those looking at the staples there. Has some exhaustion risk. SPY is pulling off a little bit after really missing that with 60 magnitude by a penny. So on the 30, that's when you start reducing this 2 up in red 30. If you got this hammer 30 down here, rallies $3, then you have to start reducing on this. And then we'll see if you reduce by half or even slightly more than that, your stop can be below your 30 entry as your cost basis goes down. But we'll just have to see, is this triangle layout, stop them out, and then 60s keep confirming or not. Since we have IDBM going up, since the Dow is now going up, SPY is already a 2 hammer in force and Qs is not. Qs would be relatively weak as it's not a 2 on the 60 and the rest are going up. So we have technically more evidence still on the upside. ABV does get moving a bit on that 15er. DIA makes the highs on the 15. Now we're not sure because you're still a 1 on the day, which is why you'd prefer stuff like DE. It is a 2 on the day. It's within the Dow Jones, but since it's a 2, it's stronger. So you actually have that trend. But what we're always looking for is when we see this 15 break, take it into the highs, break even the stop, or maybe take half off if it starts coming back in a little bit. And you can just leave it. So like if this works, you're already in with your stop here, break even. And if it doesn't, so be it. Thank you, Alex Woot Woot, AbV. Nice little double. Now, what I would have suggested is since you only played 1, hold that contract. And if you get that 30 inside up that triggers the 60, add. She did that flip. 30 on now is still good as it broke 30 up and has not reversed down. You still have this inside 60 cooking on now for the kicking pattern gappers. CMG, ouch. Look at CMG, 3-2 shooter, puke, takes the quarters down. I wonder how much worse this can get, right? Back into this 3 at 47 would take it 35. Up goes CAT, up goes DE. Dow Jones still up at the highs. Goldman Sachs, it's still a 3-2. It's just not really going too hard yet. We don't really have, we go to XLF. We don't have 2s there on the XLF yet, but notice the inside bar XLF. So if XLF goes inside and up, it confirms GS 3-2, and GS is a 2 going 3. XLF would become 2 up and then start bringing that laggard higher. There's probably a lot more XLF stocks we could be looking at, but let's see. Yeah, MasterCard's got a little bit of a broadening formation in there, but meh. JP Morgan, still weak. Morgan Stanley. So Morgan Stanley's slightly stronger than Goldman Sachs, but inside weak. GS is also inside week, but that's half the reason we can expect that outside day. Upstart does start reclaiming the morning 60 on the new 30s and 15s. So if things weaken up, that one would be one of the weaker ones. Affirms 3-1 at the lows still. So as we get closer to the next 60 flip in about 20 minutes here, what we want to see is, well, first of all, how many things are going up? So how many twos do we have up on the day? How many twos down? And then also we'll see 60s with full time frame continuity up or down in force on the next flip will be the scans. So we can just take a look and say, well, how many things are going up today index wide? So just the Utes and defense stocks and staples, which we already knew Utes and defense stocks in here is what we talked about in the morning. Two to the upside. In an ideal world, I'd be able to scan two down in green in here, but I can't. If you look at bullish continuity, so where are the buyers at? You see a lot of healthcares, a lot of Utes, a lot of healthcares, good chunk of financial services. So if we go to the healthcare sector, this is where your full time from continuity is. So they're buying healthcares today. It's something we pick up on for the rest of the day. And we could look in force. So these are all the in-force signals, healthcares. So I already had a few up here, but HCA, MTD, DHR, MCK, REGN, Tech. You can see up goes CATS and DE. It's getting closer to that 385 target, just right off the 3260. Would I say if ES takes, might reverse? I mean, right now, just looking at this, so you can see this big sideways action, and then they aggressively move down and back up. Normally, this is where we'd expect we might get triangle layout and just keep going. If we look at the SPY, what we'd say is, how are we going to reverse this 60 now? Because this 60 determines control. And this isn't for you, Chuck, it's for everyone else. But now that the 60 is green, it is corrective, right? Notice 60 and day are green against week and month. So we can say it's corrective against the week and month, but what we can say is day and 60 buyers are now in control. So although it's against the week and month, this is now continuity up day and 60. So each 60 today is super important because the next 60, if it's red, confirms the week and month and will keep going down. If it's green, it confirms the day and will keep going up. And then the greener that day gets, the less likely it is we get the puke. So with this 2260 up, we want to stick around with running positioning or even potentially add back in with the fivers in here. If they're going to just keep going here. And if you're a 30 guy, maybe you reduced your position here, but you still have that. So you want to stick around and see if that gets any better. We don't really see TXN doing much yet, but slight triangle out fiver. So when we say triangle out, we mean this. You can see, so failed to make the new highs. Buyers were too weak. Then you make slight lower lows. Here's the triangle layout. And they're coming back into it to try and take these guys out. So calls on SPY because of continuity. So it's important to know continuity confirms and negates. Each 60 confirms or negates what the week, the month, the day, and they're doing. And the day are doing, sorry. And then each day confirms or negates what the week and month are doing. So today is green, thus negating. It is 2 down. So reconfirming the trend of yesterday, but continuity is negating what we know to be true. So if the day and 60 are green, we have to be buying today and right now. Therefore, if you're a trader today, you just can't be short because it's going up. Does that mean the whole thing's turning around and this is the low? It doesn't have to. But when we look at the semis, the question is, since we had a lot of 3-2s this week and continuations, are we staying outside of that continuation of last week, 2 to the downside, which currently we are, or not? Because if semis stay down and out of this stuff, this could be corrective, right? Like 60, the day goes back to red right here. If this goes 2260, we flip short. We'll take it the other way. But if it were to stay 2 up 60, the day and 60 are green, back into this. So it's very important when you're in this conflicted period to mine that 60. But when we look at like SPY, what we say is this is exhaustion risk. Notice we take out boom, 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 boom. We take out the 3 nearby weekly pivots in here. So once we've done that, unless we start taking this one out next, that's your exhaustion risk. So that's why we can expect against continuity moves, because we've already taken everyone out that was previously long. Notice, if you were long into this, that goes sideways and then up, you get stopped out down in here. So this might not be full recovery, but we're stopping out any of these shorts first up into this stuff, 546.18. And then if they're going to keep going down, they'll reverse. But if we go up into 546.18, which we're working on right now, notice how close we would be to trying to reclaim last week's lows. So 2260 here, back through all these tight stop guys to this, we'd be very close to reclaiming that. So this 60 can change what's occurring. GDX is also doing similar to that, trying to recover a bit. You can see TXN on the triangle out fiver. They're going to re-break the 60. But SPY up through now almost 260 pivot targets on the 2230s. And you can see, just like we were pointing out, here's your 3. When you reclaim the 3 with this hammer 30, you're in. Right through there. Boeing, you got the potential rev strat day. This is the problem though. So if we just reset chart view, it's like when you have to look and squint at this chart to see what's going on in here, normally it means there's not much good happening. So you want to be aware of that. If you go on the week, it could become a 3 on the week, could become a 3 on the day. So if the Dow Jones really gets going, maybe. But notice, what day of the month is it and what is it doing? Well, it's the 25th and it's an inside month. So we'd rather not be early to the inside bar break and instead let it set up for next month, where we can either go inside up or inside down, pivot machine gun through these guys. So we'd prefer this one, obviously. Take all those guys out and then see if Boeing can get out of that big yearly mother bar. But as far as buys go, there's just not a buy there. Where if you compare that to like ABV, you can see at least the month's really green. Or if we go to now, you can see the month's very green, right? We go to the 30. Did the 30 work? It did. There's your inside 30 with the daily kicking pattern for 1%. And now your stop goes even. And if they're going to go another 5%, you're already in. Hat still to the highs. Beautiful. DE still up there as well. They took out the second to last daily pivot target. DIA staying good on the 15, 222. SPY staying good. Qs goes 322. So finally Qs. Now we have simultaneous 2-2 reversal Qs, SPY, then confirming Dow Jones direction initially in the morning, confirming IWM's initial direction in the morning. And we already mentioned this, but remember this IWM 3. We're back into that. So they're trying to go up there. NVIDIA, what about it? Red to green? Yeah, you got the 2260 on the second 60 of the day, decoupling. And it already hit its magnitude, so short-term exhaustion risk. But beautiful stuff, Dow Jones, now break even and deuce. And this is what we call it for those in the YouTube's stream, but we call it playing defense. So now you create that winning position on the 15, for example. Now you play defense. You either get the stop even or you do partials, whatever you want to do. TXN has an inside hammer 15 to confirm the 60 break in the chips, and that would PMG up to like 20080, almost 201. Look at now, up she goes. Rip. That buyer is very aggressive in there today. And the reason it is because of this. Boom. And did we specifically point that one out this morning? We did. No one does it like the kicking pattern, do they? So what does the VIX indicate? It's going down, 332 down. That's a short. You go to UVXY, short, 2260 here, boom. And when VIX is going higher, so this is the relationship between the VIX, the indexes, and options. When the VIX is going higher, what it's telling you is the options, specifically SPY puts, are becoming more expensive, relatively more expensive. So when that's occurring, it's because people are panicking and they're buying SPY puts and they're willing to pay out the ass for them because they're so scared. So when the VIX is going up, it's because they're scared of the market going down. And normally that makes the market go down. Funny enough, right? So, dang it. It's not letting me trade the UVXY. Interesting. But UVXY and the 2260, you could definitely try and go after that. That being said, though, what we were talking about before I get to that, COF was one we were paying attention to yesterday, is 3260 up with the 4-hour rev strat up. So that potentially, if you get the 3-2 day going, it is a financial that's inside week, but they had some good movement yesterday, so maybe they get going. You can see Goldman Sachs from the inside 15. They are starting to resolve that higher with the 3-2. With the Dow Jones, boom, Dow Jones, 443 cents to 402, simple. SPY, boom, nailed the low after nailing the shorts last week, killed it. Amazing, amazing stuff today, guys and girls. Qs, nice. IBM, also nice. Right off the inside 15, which confirms what we were doing before. Cats, not an outside day yet, but it's working on it. DE, still up at the highs, nice. And you can see it's very simple. Just the 3-2, you get $4. Don't need much. EXN is the one, so you can see they 5-er triangle out, make the highs, and don't stay up. That's a problem. We need them to stay up. It could be micro triangle out on this 1-er, but we'll have to see. ABV reconfirms 5-ers back up, so that's where you'd be adding if you took the 15. I'm late to mention that. But it will set up the 3060s ABV into the flip. Now just grind into the highs. Okay, so VIX. So we already talked about the relationship between the options and the VIX. So the VIX is an instrument that's calculated by the options. If you're looking at the VIX, normally it historically sits around 20 over time. So they're kind of, it's like a mean of 20. It's kind of where they're at. Recently, we've had much lower volatility. As you can see, they've been spiking it to 20 and then dropping it to 12. So we've been kind of sitting around this 14, 12 area. Now, when the VIX starts really gunning and you start taking out these previous highs, that's when you start getting those problems, right? Where the whole market starts really coming in. But the VIX, it's tracking volatility pretty much, right? Via those options prices. So when you're looking at the VIX, what you're looking at is that tracking of the volatility. And we know the way volatility works is it contracts and it expands. So whenever you have a period of high volatility, it has to follow a period of low volatility, because volatility is not like a measured number per se. It's more of a comparison between the past and the current price action. So you're always going to have high volatility after low volatility. You'll always have low volatility after high volatility. And it sounds stupid to say, but that's how it works, right? So the VIX can't go up forever because we know that's true. So volatility will expand and then VIX crashes and it comes back in. And volatility will expand and then crash. And it just continues doing that boom and bust type cycle. So when you look at the UVXY, for example, this is a leveraged volatility ETF. So, or ETN. So when volatility expands, this will go up. When it contracts, unlike the VIX, which does not go to zero, this over time will go to zero. So when it starts contracting, even if volatility stays high, the volatility of these ETFs, I mean, if volatility, let's say, just goes up and it sits at 20 and goes sideways, these will still go down, even if volatility doesn't. So whenever volatilities rip into the highs like VIX, This is the analogy Rob would use. When VIX is gunning into these highs like this, you don't want to bet on it going down because it's expanding. This is where people say, like, you can't short the VIX, right? Like, you're going to blow out and lose all your money. It's like, no, no, no. Once it starts rolling over, that's when you start betting on it because we know, if we go to the UVXY, we know if this starts rolling over 2-2 on the day tomorrow, it's probably going to new lows because it's designed to go to zero. So when we're looking at this, Rob would say it's kind of like watching those guys that ride do like the uphill dirt bike riding, right? So they're ripping up the hill, and they're like, okay, he's going to the top, he's going to the top. And then the second you see that front tire flip over the guy's head, you can bet on him falling down the mountain because he is falling down the mountain at that point. So the same way that UVXY is ripping to the highs, and then once we get that change in week and day continuity that starts coming back in, then we start betting on it. And you can use the VIX in that way to see when the market will firm up. So like SPY, they've been really puking it, right? And if the VIX starts going 2 down 60 and expanding that stuff lower, it will firm the SPY up. Or it can be another metric to do that. And that's where that 30 and all that stuff can come from. Now though, SPY, you do have, looks like some triangle out on the 5-minute up in there. We go on the SPX. So just mind the broadening formation. You got this outside 60. So you can draw that out and you say, we got to stay out of that 3 because that's a broadening formation, right? So up and out of this stuff, 5445. On ES, that same level would be 548650. And if we look at ES, they're still not reclaiming any of these guys. But if we look at the big 60 try, you can see the slight higher highs in here. And you can see the lower lows in here. And then boom, taps the lows. Back through previous range, 3-2 expansion. Hats, you did get some 3225 or profit taking after that last 66 target. DE is also slight profit taking after some of those 60 pivots up in there. We look at the semis. They did go a little bit shooter 5 off the highs, so some pulling back. Dow Jones, you got a little 3-2-2-5 or potentially up in here. It's an inside day, so you just got to be aware of that because when we're inside on this, this is what the try currently looks like. So if that starts reversing, I would not be against reducing if you have not reduced. Crazy inside 60 in the XLVs. Dow Jones inside 5 down, back into a 3. I'm curious because we got Dow Jones 2 up 60s to start the day, which means they bought and tried to buy more. Same with IWM. So I think it's going to be kind of difficult to turn this around to the downside unless it's Qs. Because Qs is still relatively a good bit weaker, but it did reverse. So we'll have to see on this next flip. And what we normally say is like let's say you're short from up here. This first reversal down here doesn't have to be what gets you out, right? The same way that this first reversal down here, it does not have to be what gets us completely in. Because we're not super interested in nailing the exact low or the exact high. It's more so getting the bigger range in between. Now you are getting profit takers after high day, so don't let that go red either. Waste management is sideways 60s down, setting up inside 60 for 4 minutes from now for the 212 continuation down with full time frame continuity and an outside month magnitude about $3.62 away. Glad to hear that. Completely turned your trading around after watching all your stuff. That's awesome, dude. What I would say that, like, if you're watching this, you're like, Alex, I'm just struggling. This is tough. The biggest thing, the like 90% of it is just go back through a previous range. As long as you're doing that and trading reversals, even if you're ignoring continuity, you can still create winning positions. And they won't be good winning positions on every single one. Obviously, they'll be better with continuity and more signals than just the time frame you're entering on. But the biggest thing is just back through previous range. Because even if, like, if you're in here and you're watching SPY, even if you don't know that this isn't the best long trade, at least expecting it complete follow through, you can still make money on this stuff, right? It's like, it's still $4. You can still do that. If we go on the continuity here, we'll have to see that next 60. So we always say it'll either confirm or negate, right? So you create the position in here. If they're going to go back up, 2 up again, that would reconfirm, and then the shorts are really going to have problems. If they don't, they go inside, and then we'll have to wait for the next 2. If they go 2 down, it'll negate this buyer, changing the day back to red, full time for continuity down, and we'll take out low day. So we're ready up or down. And the way that works as well is, well, anything, if this starts going red and back in, and we see that across everything, we'd go after the inside 60s down because they're relatively weak. So SPY went 2 up, anything inside bar is too weak to do that. If we go 2 to the upside, all those inside 60s will be the laggards breaking higher. So all we have to do is wait for that next flip and scan. SPXL would be the cheaper version of SPY, SPXL. I believe there's other ones, but that's the main one that I know about. And it looks like it's pretty much trading 1-to-1 with SPY, interestingly enough. So as we get closer to the flip, we got about a minute here. SPY's closer to a 2 down 15 on the 60 flip. So we'd get a 2 down. It would change control to the week month 15 participants, but not the 60 guys. But it would change 60 continuity if that broke down. And this is kind of where we don't really know, right? So if you're in from down in these 30s and you reduced up here, you get to hold that. Let's say it did break down. Could you try and short it and keep a hold on that position just to see? Maybe if you wanted to, just to make sure you keep along there if it starts recovering, or you can just wait and see what that next 2 on the 60 is, which is what I normally do. What we do see is Dow Jones is also closer to a 15 back down after the top of the 15 try, still an inside day. IBM just nowhere near 60 down. So here's the new flip. Let's see what the next 2 is. ABV, yeah, you'll have that inside 30 and 60. All the healthcares also look like that, so we just got to see, does that become 2 on the 60? It's currently very much a 1, double 1. Now on the flip is right up at the high still, no 15s again, slight triangle out fiver. Dow Jones does 2 to the 15 to start, so they're starting by stopping guys out and reversing. So to start, we have more 2s down, and it's mostly consumer defensive, EDU, MDLZ, MKC. There's also a few communication services, T and Verizon. So T and Verizon simultaneous 60s the other way, trying to negate the dailies. Looks like it'll be in conflict on the week with VZ, also conflict with T. So no thanks. SPY, you can see just starting as a 1 on the 60. So SPY becomes a 1, Qs becomes a 1, Dow Jones becomes a 1 and slightly red. IBM becomes a 1. So no 2s down on the 60s, no 2s up. AA in the materials, it's kind of conflicted. Does have a 3 on 260 to go outside day. It's a smaller stock though. Kind of slim pickings so far. We'll see. Dow in the materials, 212 on the 60s. Dow for the gapper traders, gap down buy from exhaustion risk. This is something we posted on Twitter exactly yesterday, what a gap down buy looks like. So materials is the only simultaneous break we see. Dow, LYB, NEM are probably the 3 better ones to be looking at. LYB has continuity, 312 LYB. So some simultaneous break there. Intraday break, so you have 1 hour for that break and then it will expire. So you see 1, 2, 3 basic materials so far on the upside, and you got 3 energies. So some materials, some energies. You can see on LYB, this is occurring with the 60-day and month green against the weekly participation group. So gap down buy, potential PMG if that actually works out on this on the 30 or on the 60 break. So similar to kind of like what DE looked like, taking out some of those pivots there. It did start exhausting. 3. So DE. Here's your 3, broadening formation, 2 down in green right there. When that's 2 down in green, they're trying to go back into it. If they go 225, it'd reconfirm that. Potentially CAT might do similar there too. Dow Jones, you can see slight triangle out. Dow Jones as well might do similar. So got DuPont in the materials going 3 day potentially. Keep scanning. So you got 1 material, 2 material, 3 material, 4 material break. And in the future, we're going to have a count of this next to results, but don't have that quite done yet. We got some technologies as well, GitLab, IBM, 212 up with full time frame continuity. You can see who's enforced down. So you got 8 enforced to the downside. Notice it's mostly consumer defensives that did that. Breaking slightly lower. Nothing's really puking besides EDU from the looks of it. Also EW in the healthcares. CCJ in the energy is almost 1% off at 60. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Let's see. Bottom of it's really big 60 try. Well, intermediate bottom. That's really sad. So CCJ, I've been watching this one for over a couple of years now, but it took out all-time highs and they're coming back through. So it looks like, uranium, we're not going to get that cheap energy everyone wants. Well, LYB did make high today. We'll see. It's just got to stay above that now outside of that morning 3. Dow has not done that yet. It's kind of a wimpy simultaneous break, but it's really all you can go after right now on this 60. Doing our best here. You can see SPY is a 1, Q's a 1, Dow Jones a 1, IBM a 1. So we don't got much evidence on that. And what that means is if we do see materials start failing, we're not going to stick around. There's just no reason to. DE's 225 we're trying to recover. Still an inside 60 though. CAT's not so much. So might start chopping you up on DE if that 5-minute can't make high day. And you can see on the tech, so this is what we mean when we say how much control do you have on that 60. So when we go and take a look, notice the 60, green and 2 up, right? So it's 60 in day group. New 60 opens, no buyer at all, right? This is either a seller or it's a nothing. They're agreeing on prices here, and they're doji day now. So at this point, we got no evidence of the buyer anymore. And we don't have any evidence of a seller really besides the week and month timeframes, but intraday we got no evidence. So there's just nothing we can do here until either this 30 signal from down here keeps going, reconfirming, and then we could add or something, or until the 60 becomes a 2 down again with full time from continuity. Upstart 32260, yeah, you got the 2230. So it's 30s down right now. It could become 32260 with full time from continuity. The only thing is you have no futures help as the futures are not going down. And they're not going up either. So there's not much you can do there. This is where we can talk about questions and anything for those of you guys in the YouTube stream. Or anyone in the chat. Anything you want to talk about. Because until these 60s are 2, we don't do anything. So you can get food, go to the bathroom, do whatever you're going to do. At this point, what we'd say is we're not negating that reversal that just occurred on the indexes. So that's still good on the 30, still good on the 60, as there's no reversal against you. So those running positions on longs, you're good. And then break even, see what happens. That's about it. That's all I got for you right now. A lot of peeps in here today. Yeah, we did make the stream on the YouTube public this morning. I'm not going to say it was completely on purpose. I thought about it, and then I just went live, and Sarah mentioned that we were live, and I was like, whatever. So do you trade the month and or weekly candles? Yep. Where do you enter? Either on the week or month, or you get in there on a 60 or daily signal to trigger the week or month. So like MU, for example, this is one we talked about in last week's vid. You go inside week, right? Once it starts breaking in here, we can trade this on the 60, 30, 15 time frames this whole week as the week is in force and the month went in force. So notice the week breaks and then the month breaks. So you take the week to trigger the month and then it peaks, right? There's also, I believe, QCOM. You can see this one was caused actually by an outside week, but actually we'll go Marvel as an example of what we did. So like Marvel, for example, This day signal 3-2 reversal right in here causes the 2-2 weak below this. So we can either take the day signal because we have the day in force, or we can take the weak signal because we have the day and the weak in force. We have more evidence of the short once it takes us out. So we can take it, add, or maybe we miss this one, take this weekly here. And then if we miss that, we can go in there and we can trade this. So we can trade this inside bar down in here, which is going to be, I believe it was inside on the 30. Could be mistaken here. Yeah, so you can see inside 30 down, it actually went sideways 60 and down. So this is 2 hours inside of the first 2 hours. So we go on the 60 minute. So something we mentioned right in here, 60 down. Then if you miss that, here's the 3, poke up, red, potential 3-3, then it turns 3-2-2 here. You can play that. And in this case here, it's going to stop you out on your break-even stops. And then they have the slight triangle out, and then 2-2, which occurred yesterday, which kept it going again. Yeah. So the biggest thing is when you're trading, if you're not going to be intraday on the charts, is you want multiple signals. If you're just trading a singular, like let's say you just trade a singular weekly signal and there's no month, quarter, year, nothing, doesn't mean it can't work, but you want more evidence because it'll increase your win rate. And the way we do that is also using the indexes and the chips sector in this example, or any of the sectors. Because like when we're looking at the healthcares, ABV going higher in the morning on the, what was it? On that 3, the healthcares are already going up. So we had a lot of evidence that ABV could continue. Therefore, we can buy high day here, and it rallies $6, right? And then the 2-2 on the 60 flip right here, perfectly on time, either flip short or just take out most of that position. And then if you wanted to, you could have tried to flip back long in here. There was that 30 in here, which stops me out, but so be it. SPY does take the 15s down, same with Qs. Dow Jones is still trying to recover its 15. So CAT and DE still 2 and up. Financials are closer to 60 inside up, which could cause the 2-2 day, and still an inside week though. HAS 2230 on the gapper list, gap sell, and notice how big this try is on the day. Back through this baby, HAS, and this will go on the, once we get the observations list out here. Wait, is this the third 60 of the day? It is. I'm gonna have to get that out quicker. Yeah, there's not many strat attack or strat time report names that I see. Right now I see a ton of inside bars breaking higher. And there's very few 2 up, 2 up, 2 ups today, so there's not many things getting bought. Oh, that's on a 30 minute. Let me check the 60. Yeah, okay, so here it is. So BK in the financials, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up to start the day, and this is where we're gonna. And what we're looking for is things that have bought the first, second, and third 60 or sold the first, second, and third. The way I scan that is just 2 up on the 60 on that third 60 of the day, and then look for 2 up, 2 up, 2 up patterns. So BK is on there, CBRE is on there, DFS is on there. Let's see, GD is on there, industrials. There's a, GE. And this is a preliminary list. We'll see what's going on next, or what's going on once I get to checking them. There's a lot of 2 up, 2 down, 2 ups in the utilities, so those are trying to recover and get the week going again. Citigroup went a penny lower and then 2 down to green. This might be good for tomorrow, or they could do that today as well. There's a few financial services. or really actually a pretty good chunk of financial services. So let me show you this. So you're going to see in here on the financials. So notice tons of financial services, tons and tons of them, all throughout this whole list, and industrials. So we kind of picked up on that earlier in the week, but you're going to see we have 39 financial services inside up right now, and some continuations, which is BK, FitB, and then anything with a 3 in here. So we got simultaneous break financial services, this 60. They're all hammers. And in the industrials, you got a lot of industrials in there as well. And General Dynamics, let's see. Not a lot that I normally trade. You can see the materials also, LYB is going. Dow, here's your new high a day. So you reduce, or not reduce, you break even your stop, and then we'll see. Give you that outside bar, gap down buy. And this is just a good example of what a gap down buy looks like. Up goes LYB, gap in intraday. So XLF did break higher. I'm not sure if there's a financial services ETF. I wish there was. We know regionals got going with the outside day already, so they already did that. The banking ETF, KBWB, is also an outside day 3-3 today, so still financials. XLI in the industrials, you got this big potential 3, which is what's keeping that Dow Jones going. And you can see you had the slight triangle out Dow, and then 3 poke down 225er, and then momentum hammer 5er makes a high again. So they're staying up there, which means running position here, good, right? You get to continue to hold that. The day and 60 groups are still confirming. SPY ain't doing much, nothing inside 60, same cues. So the one thing I want you guys to see is just once you have 2s, things move. Once they go inside, things chop. So you can create positions on 2s, do nothing on 1s. And most people do the opposite. Things are moving, they're like, I'm going to let it pull back. And then it becomes an inside bar and they chop themselves to death. Bank of America is 60 down in the financials, could negate the day with a shooter day in force. It could take last week's lows, so that one might have some issues while some of the other ones are going up. DE, 32215er, fun to say and fun to do, full time from continuity up on that. You can see GD today, wow. What a beauty. And I apologize, last night I did not get a video out. I was just so tired. I had volleyball, and I'm going to have 3 volleyball matches tonight. So I don't know if I'm getting one out tonight either, but when the market's moving, the gappers, you know, they're going to do everything you need it to do. It would be nice to have something like GD, but it is what it is. Who's that guy? We're going to be actually talking to him at 4:30 today in the Discord. I'm going to show you his stuff, though. His name is TCL Trader. And I just find what they're doing really, really interesting, and I figured maybe you guys would. But you can see, so they're using the broad information, but their whole thing is they use these dots to identify the swing pivot lows and pivot highs. So you can pretty much draw them out and identify once that's coming out of the try, and then see how it's reclaiming. This is where they're getting at. So they're pretty much buying and selling reclaims of the broad information. So it broadens, pokes down, and then reclaim back in, right? And that's all their setups. And you can see They're pretty much trying to time the tops and bottoms of those tries. And I just think it's super cool because everyone talks about the try and they're like, well, is it the lines or is it the blah, blah, blah? It's like, it's both. The lines are the support and resistance, true support and resistance. But the broadening formation phenomenon is what tells you can short this rev strat here to come back through previous range without even drawing this. As long as that inside day is failing, you know what to do. So we're going to be talking with him today. He said it'll take probably about an hour. I'll be talking with his group about the strat stuff. I want to show them the scans and see if they're interested in that type of mess, if that makes sense. ABV is still confirming the 15 inside knob. 30s are stuck, 60s are stuck, so we're not going to touch that. But SPY 22215 reconfirms control to the buyers intraday. Still an inside 60 chop shop though. Same with Qs. Dow is a 2 up and IDBM's a 1-2. So it's really only the Dow. LYB does have first 5 or against up in there after the 60s go. The Dow is still holding up at the highs for now. DuPont's also still holding up at the highs. That one was continuation for the 3-3, but double A Alcoa is still up at the highs too. Are they stratters? No, but they do use they just use the broadening formation, which I find super interesting. They're also using, like, you can see they're not identifying the 1s, 2s, and 3s per se, but they're using candle patterns as well. So you can see note the doji bar at the top, and this is when we topped out on the Qs, right? And we're looking at that not as a doji bar, but as a shooter rev strat, which makes it slightly different, but we're doing the same thing. And then you can see entries above the high of this green bar in here, which is the inside bar up. So they're doing the same thing. They're just identifying it slightly different. And I believe he has talked with Rob in the past. So it's not like this is a new thing as far as the strat's concerned. But the way I see it is if they have a good way of identifying objectively those broadening formation levels, then we could have that incorporated into the strat bot. That's one of the big things that we still have not figured out how to do. And if you noticed when we put out the scanning video, I specifically said it's like we can scan for continuity, the 1s, 2s, and 3s and signals. We can't scan for the try. So you have to open it up and draw the try yourself. Now, if we could have a scan where you tick it, it's like, okay, give me all the signals at the top and bottom of a broadening formation line. Like with those, it's like it has 3 touches to a line or something. Give me the signals up in this. Then that could get more interesting with the strat bot, right? And you see they nailed it right up in here. Regionals, top of their try expansion with full time from continuity up in here. Oh, what was your question, 2 cents? Yeah, we did answer that. Like the biggest thing is literally just back through previous range with multiple signals and full time from continuity. Like for example, when we're looking at like let's say this was a daily chart, right? Daily chart, sideways, sideways, sideways. They poke up, poke down, full time from continuity on the daily chart, back through a previous range. That'd be exactly what you're looking for. And then it stays up at the highs of the range and expands. Because if you look at any big move, it's always going to reclaim a big previous range. You can see, so the big three up into the highs, back into the three, reversal on the day, reclaims all this stuff back through previous range. And then you get the gap down, and changes what's happening. Buy. GDX is reconfirming the 2260s, trying to recover on the gap down. JNUG inside 60s, same deal. They could become threes, maybe. Gold not recovering, so you don't really have much help there. We'd want all of those going. Silver, a little bit, not much. Like so, silver, for example. If we wanted to buy silver, which we know inflation's going up the wazoo, what do we want? Gap down, and then if it goes 2-2 tomorrow, could reclaim that and then right through the previous range. Does it have continuity though? The week would be red, so it'd have to occur 2-2 on a Friday and set up a hammer for next week. If it did that, then we could add to a position if it went 2-2 next week and go after these guys. Dow Jones 22215er high a day again. So just like the previous, boom, 2-2 up, pokes down, 2-2 up again. DE is still inside 60. It's a potential 22230 though. CAT is 3-230s at the highs, so it's 2 up 60 again, reconfirming the 3-2. Should give you the outside day. Now on Dow Jones, if we're going to become a 2 up on the day, and this is very important when it comes to inside day trading, since this is still a 1, we got to get to the top of this range and stay up there. Then we cause yesterday's sellers above this to get out. If we get up here and then start coming back in, we're still a 1. They could take out all these guys. So just be aware of the inside days on that side of things. TXN does go green and inside. So that's still holding a 2 down and green day at this point in the chips. The semis, green and inside, so they have not negated. That's 62.2. Along with all the Qs, SPY, the IWM. So we got another half hour still until we get 2s, unless these 30s break and become 2 on the 60. And remember on SMH, once a 3, always a 3. Do you see this? 239.02. They have reclaimed that. Semis and 22230 SMH could cause a 2 up on the 60. Spies inside 30s up trying to cause a 2 up 60. That's your add. So 2230 hammer, inside 30 add. IDBM, not so much. So Q's SPY, Dow Jones, that's where you want to be. TXN inside 30s up, also trying to cause that 60 PMG still, so we'll see. Anything like materials that's already going up should just continue going up and in a faster pace, hopefully, due to the market trying to get going again on the 2s. See LYB, a pretty nice move off the 60s there, and that's all straight from the scanner. If we go and look at the scanner now, I know we didn't get the full list here of the strat time report. I don't know if I'm going to do that today. It's just there's so many things to go through. Oh, you can see in the industrials, 15 in the industrials and forced to the upside. So you got those going. And then you've got the materials, the gap down buys. 4 of those 60s in the materials going. You got 14 total 2s to the upside, inside 60s up in materials. And then we can see how many 2 ups. You got 27 2 ups in total. Notice 0 2 down in the materials. So are they going down right now or up? They have to be going up. Can't be any other way. And when you go look at them, they're going up. This stuff is truly just so magical. Yeah, so there's multiple types of simultaneous breaks. When we say a simultaneous break, what we mean is we got multiple signals in the same direction, but you can also have simultaneous break continuations. So, like, let's say we go to the Dow, or what were we looking at? Let me think. Let's just say the semis yesterday. When the semis sell the first hour of the day and every semiconductor is enforced to the downside, confirming last week's move, we have so much evidence it's going down. Once the 60 goes 2 down again, that's simultaneous break continuation. Everything just reconfirmed at the same time. So they sold every semiconductor, came back the next day or the next 60, and then continued to do that. So when that occurs and we have a ton of 2s down, that's simultaneous break continuation. That's as good as a normal simultaneous break with the signal. The only difference is that this is into exhaustion. But since we know they're so aggressive, we can take that too. And the way that you can do this is kind of like we pointed out on the Dow. When Dow goes 2-2-15, or when it breaks this 30 inside up, anything in the Dow already going up is just being simultaneously broken, reconfirmed. So if we go to like DE, for example, for now it's slightly weaker as it's not making high day. Cat's still making the highs, so weakens up a little bit in here. When DE is already going up, and then Dow Jones breaks a signal, we can just go by DE. It's already going up, and Dow Jones now reconfirming that. So this continues, Dow Jones breaks a signal. That's still a lot of evidence. We just have less signals in the DE itself. But we can do it that way. And that's how you play things that are really going. So like when AbbVie and all the healthcares are really going, this 3-2 continuation is the same thing. It's like this is simultaneous continuation, 3-2. It's also an expansion of the 3. You go to the healthcares, every healthcare did that as well, simultaneous break continuation. So you can not only break reversals, but also continuation patterns. And when we take continuations, we prefer threes because it's causing a range expansion, which means if we get that and it starts gunning like this, as long as it's not back under this, we have nothing to worry about. Now, in this case, shooter 15 and then reduce on the 60 flip, and it stops you out. But when they break and then don't reverse and you keep this continuity full time from continuity up, that's when you make all your money. So if we take enough of these 3-2s with continuity, we will make money for sure. Now, inside 30 up now, second add to now off the 822 at the first 30. This one's occurring at 833. So if you're not going to add, that's fine. It's momentum. If you're going to, you can try and do that, but don't let a position go red. You want that to just go in force right away and keep going. LYB, gunning for your outside day. Did we know? We did. There's your buck winning position created for about 85 cents on the break. We were like maybe a couple cents late, so once it's outside, we'll get our 85 cents. But it's pretty nice. And that's doing about 20% for me on the 8/16 expiration, which, wish they had the 0 DTE or the Friday expiration, but nope. It's A-okay. SPY, okay. So this is where you have to be careful. The 30 breaks, tries high day, fails to make new highs, red. This is where you start reducing again. So if you added, you have to do full reduction with your break even here, and then also reduce this 30 again. You see how this rev strat trying to go against you? You see the Qs also failing a little bit, and those failed trends are super, super powerful if it does fully 3. So just gotta be careful. Dow Jones stays up though, so that's good. IBM is slight rev start as well, so we might get some triangle out in there. It looks like TXN too weak to get going. Semis, see semis, they poke high day, then they come back in slightly, so they're forming this new 15er trine here. Very tiny. So here's your price discovery SMH. And when we draw this out, now this is the new try. The question is, how are we getting out of that? And how can we take out these shorts or take out these longs? So we either need to take these guys out or these guys out, and they might chop around until that starts expanding. And what we can say is if they're going to take those guys out, we will expand the try higher. If they're going to take these guys out, we'll expand and get out of the try and expand it lower. So until we get out of that, we're stuck there. SPY is not stuck as the 60s haven't reversed yet, so we'll see. Same with the Dow. Same with IBM. As long as those 60s stay 2. ABV stuck still. And you see ABV. Now we have a try forming, so how are we getting out of this to get high day or down in here? Now 30s make high day. 833 traded from 785 to 833 on the kicking pattern. So textbook. Amazing. Kicking patterns are just simply, you can't beat them. Simply just can't. And the beautiful thing is no one can beat them. Because if you're short the market, now looked great as a short. And then it opens up and you're just freaking screwed. OIB, there's your 3 on the day. Triggers potentially PMG. And the 3 is simultaneously a rejection of a previous low or high and a previous downtrend in this case. And it's a reversal because it causes a new high. Now price is going up. It's previously going down. and it's a continuation if it stays above 96.84. So if you wanted to add, you would do it there, right, when it's breaking above this. And then since you already have a winning position, you're risking their money, and therefore the add is free. Gold is 60s down, still having issues. Ouch. Means JNUG and GDX, probably not. Maybe they go outside of that morning range with the PMG, but nothing. Nothing going on there for us. COF becomes 3-2 up on the day. Inside 30s trigger it after the 3-2-60. And this was something we were talking about yesterday. So anyone that has the gap down buy position, or maybe got some of this, that's going again. Now 35. Look at that. 2 positions on the 30s. Nice. This is also what we mean when we say you don't have to be that first guy if you're not comfortable buying that gap up with the kicker, although you should be. Whenever you have that kicking pattern, the entry is right when it's green and the stop is low a day. So that's how you trade the gaps. But then once it's confirming that, you can just go right there and add, or get in and then add. And green gets greener, so you got all day for now to keep blowing out the shorts. And what happens is anyone that's short within this previous range on the week, as we get in here, you can see we're making the new high. So we're currently expanding this. Once you start expanding the try, all the shorts, their P&L starts drifting away from them. So maybe later, different week or something, it starts pulling back slightly. But what we want to see is that continue to make the higher low and drift away. And then anyone short in this range has to start buying up in here, causing it to really get going, which is what we see occurring intraday here. Any of these shorts, they have to get out. And the reason that's happening is because Q's has been going down. So when Q starts recovering and firming up by going green on the day, anyone short in stuff taking yesterday's highs, such as now, they're screwed because they're really short the tech and they're just getting blown to smithereens. But that kind of concludes the morning session. Normally we end off around 11. So for anyone that's in the YouTube stream, this is where you can take questions or anything you want me to look at before we end it off. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And this isn't something we do all the time. We used to do open house streams more often. Maybe we can start that up again. But hopefully you guys can see how we can use the scanner intraday to create winning positions on simultaneous breaks, just using the 60s, and also how that intraday continuity of the 30, 60, and daily groups is super important when looking at the indexes such as SPY, how we caught that 30 at low a day and reconfirmed it with an add. Yeah, so what's happening in August is we are going to have our open, or not open, but we're going to have our, whatchamacallit, Strat Bootcamp. So if you're interested in the boot camp, what we go over, and we also do have new slideshows, so it's going to be a little different. We added some stuff from the previous one. If we go in here, I'm going to show you guys kind of what that looks like. So these are all the boot camp slides and presentations, but we have a full course that goes through everything, and we're going to be adding some more stuff. This was this initial course in here. And each of these is its own slideshow, pretty much, if that makes sense. So all the PDFs. But we do this, and we go through every night the boot camp docs. We're covering a different topic each night, and it is a boot camp, so you can expect that it's going to be kind of intense. We're going to do our best to extend it. We're going to add another week. I believe it was 2 weeks last time, but potentially, or I guess a lot of people said that probably just is not enough time to really nail it down. So we're going to try and do our best to extend it a little bit. But these are the streams we do every day. I do these Tuesday through Thursday scheduled, and then Friday on and off. I'll do Fridays depending on what's going on. Normally in the summer, Fridays are a little bit less what I'm doing. And then when winter comes around, we hit Fridays more often. But that's the boot camp. And I guess as an example of what that looks like, we can see. So we will have the boot camp, and we post all the streams and all the materials and everything in this stuff. And then we also do have homework that we are giving out so that you guys can do, and we'll grade that and make sure you guys are on the right page. And then in the future, I think we're going to have more streams like after the close, talking about the day, talking about the next day, and going through charts all together. But that's what you can expect in the boot camp. And if you're interested in learning more about it, we do have a little boot camp video. If you go to stratalerts.com/bootcamp, you can find it there. As far as the price, I believe, I can't quite remember what the price was last time. Let me think. What was the price last time? I know someone in premium chat can let me know. I actually don't quite remember. I think it was 250 last time. Or it might have been 300 last time. 300, yeah. So last time was 300. I'm not sure if it's going to be that cheap again. We did that first boot camp for as cheap as we could, just to kind of nail out some of the, I guess, initial questions and make the slides better, organize things better, and figure out how it's going to go and what we have to change and fix. So it will be heavily discounted. I don't think it's going to be at $600, but it's only that discount every quarter, once a quarter. In the future, the boot camp materials will all be listed on the site, and they'll be about $600. But every time we have the quarterly boot camp where we do it live, it will be cheaper, and you guys can then get in there. So you can check that out here. It should be in August. I'm not sure exactly what day. But if you follow the Stat Trading Twitter account, that's where you're going to get the announcements and stuff for that. LYB, boom, to the highs. Did we know? Materials, we did. Dow Jones, did we know? We did. 2-2 day on Dow Jones changes the weekly group. If it can get going another 30 cents, it changes the week group. The daily magnitude would do that. So Dow Jones changing what we know to be true. But I'm telling you guys right now, for what you're going to get with the boot camp, I truly do. And you also get a free month of premium. I truly do believe you can make that all back very, very quickly. Like, even if you're just on the stream today and you're playing, $300 positions on any of these simultaneous breaks we're pointing out, you paid for the boot camp already. Or even like if you trade now off the kicker this morning, you paid for probably 10 boot camps. But that is the gist. LYB, I'm sitting around 30% on the 816s. Looks like Uber's reclaiming the equilibrium as well on taking out the morning highs. It's gonna be a 3-2 on the 2-hour chart. So Uber, you got this big bottom of the daily try. I know we had the shorts yesterday, but this changes what we know, and that pokes back into this equilibrium here. IDBM's gunning too. Did we know? SPY off your inside 30 add back into your position, ripping through. So we're getting back to that 546.89 that we mentioned as the target. If we go to ES, or the US 500 is what I use, we mentioned if you got to stay out of that 3 on the 60, we will come back through this previous range, and we are, because we stayed out of the 3 with no 60s against. So it has to do that. And you got this 2 going 3 day. So if this goes where it's supposed to, it's going to come back into here, 5539. So you create the winning positions on the 30-60s and then come back later today. Hopefully those play out for us pretty nicely. If we go to DE, DE is back to the highs off the 32215er with full time from continuity. Fun to say and fun to do. Makes high a day, so your break-even stops definitely have to be in. CAT is still gunning off the 15er as well. It's already an outside day, changing the weekly continuity. Above 347, it would change it. So not quite yet, but it has become a 3. We say once a 3, always a 3. We do not know what's going to happen next because that's a broadening formation. The same way when SMH goes outside on the month, we don't know if that's going to continue unless it stays down. And for now, 60s reconfirm that 322 in the morning. Financials on the 3-1 or the 2-1-2, you can see they get moving, taking the day up like we said it should. If you go to Goldman Sachs, we mentioned that with 3-2, but it might be a little lackluster because those financials hadn't broken yet. But if they break, this one was already going up, so it reconfirms this. You can see they did keep going, so going for the outside day there. Looks like MasterCard's a 2-2 from the bottom of the try in the financials as well. Missed that one. See Affirm's a little bit of a recovery, Upstart, a little bit of a recovery, but COF is the only 2 up we got there that I can see it has good continuity. Citigroup did become a 3. But Goldman Sachs is probably the best one we could find there. There's probably better, but is what it is. Anyone play IBM today? Personally, I did not, but it had a very, very nice break off of the gapper list. And I'm unsure. Yeah, so it was on the up gap list. You can see, like, if I was, and this is the thing, is there's so many things to watch. This is why we want the boot camp to be successful, because we can have you guys help until the strat bot can do it. But you had the 22230 here to get in at 191, now trading 195. And you can see inside day, 3-day inside bar pattern, which we talked about pre-market, resolves higher with full time for continuity, and not at all-time highs yet, which is up here around 200, 199.29-ish. And SPY, you can see this is why we add to winning positions, because when you get the 30, maybe you partial it, that's fine, right? But 30 is still good as there's no two down. And then you add on this here. So even if you have like a $200 position here, because like we said, there's not that much evidence on that yet, and then it goes up, maybe that $200 position, especially if you're on 0DTs, maybe it's 400 up here. And then when you add here, instead of just adding 200, you can add 500, 600, because once this starts gunning, that position is their money. So you can use their money against them. And all these shorts in here, you just took their money and you used it against them. They're getting them creamed in there, right? So beautiful stuff. Dow Jones, even more beautiful, right up into the top of the try. And like we said, if you're going to take yesterday's highs, you're going to have to cause the expansion of this range, which they did. 2215 goes to the highs and then reconfirms, boom, expansion. And this is where we look to add, because now we can gauge the magnitude of the daily into this stuff. So amazing stuff there. Now just flying off the 30s, up another $8. Initial positions $20 on the 30s, and if you grab the kicking pattern off low day, $60 nearly. Amazing, amazing stuff today. LYB blowing them out. Second daily pivot target taken out. Alcoa is a little bit weaker there. There was another one in there. I forget. It was LYB, Alcoa. Obviously, there's a lot of materials in here to the upside. Was it NEM, I think? Looks good, but I don't think that was one we mentioned. There's a different 312 we mentioned in here. You can scan for it. Yeah, so you can see simultaneous 312s across the board. But was it FMC? I'm not quite sure. FMC is similar. See, 2 going 3 week with the outside day. But yeah, killed right there. SPY may make a 3 on the day. Yep. That's why we go after the 2 down in green. Failed directional. But what we want to be aware of is all this PMG we mentioned is going to be taken out. It's pretty close to being taken out. This last pivot. We're at the second to last PMG pivot, and then we have to go all the way up into 549.17. So what we call that is short-term exhaustion, where you can take all these guys out. Even if it's just day and 60 group, you're stopping shorts out. That's why this goes up. Now, once we're up in here, we might see them triangle out to try and get back to the new highs, because the pivots are what cause price to move. So if you have, let's say you have this pivot up in here that you're targeting, you got no pivots down in here. If price rallies up in here and they're still not taking that out, what they'll do is they'll triangle out and they'll create pivots in here so they can take those out and then take this stuff out. So it looks really good right now. That's good. As long as it stays up there, we're expecting that outside day, hopefully. But we just got to be aware of that if we start stalling out. Now is the total winner of the day, though. Amazing. Boeing, yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, there's your RevStrat day. Nice 3-on-2 there. You have with the industrials going. Very nice. Just like we said, you can get that outside day, but after that, we're not too sure. Maybe an outside week, but stuck on the month. We prefer something like now. Look at how much greener that is. TXN takes high a day out. PMG 60 gets triggered. That means the semis, 2 up again and reconfirming still, so that's good. Giving us the potential 3 from the outside month. Hughes, you'll see us still a little weaker in the semis, which is why IDBM and Dow Jones will be where the strength is. Nvidia, yep. You got your 60 magnitude. So we'll see. SMCI. Right to the bottom of the try down in there. Oh, crap. I posted the wrong link on edit. Let's share. Posted my YouTube studio link on accident. Yeah, but for those of you guys in here from the YouTubes, you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to cover before we end it off? This is your chance to get free help. All right. Thanks for streaming. Interesting to see how you trade. Awesome. Miss the streams. I know we used to stream to YouTube almost, gosh, it was every day for multiple months. Just a thank you. Awesome. MC Wups, there he is. Nice to see you. But you can see if we go to the VIX now, do we know about the puke in the VIX that causes a SPY rally? Yup. And if you're able to short the UVXY on the 60s down here, they're down $1 there. I couldn't. It wouldn't let me trade the volatility ETN options for some reason on my account. I'm going to be switching my brokerage soon, so that won't be a problem in the future. But that's one trade I haven't done really that much that I'm still interested in, at least going into tomorrow if they go 2-2 on the day there. But I want to take a look and just see what those options have moved as to see. So 8/16 expiration. We'll say that at the money 27 put. See, they're pricing in a move to like 24, which, you know, could change that. But let's see how they move. So they dropped about $1 off the 60. Yeah, so those puts went from 2.9 to 3.3. So it's really easy $40. That's actually not that bad. And with how hard that VIX is dropping, I'm actually surprised UVXY isn't dropping harder. Maybe we should go to SVIX. See the big hammer at the bottom of that. Interesting. All right, so any of those simultaneous 60s we just took expire. Notice how LYB was in force for 60 minutes. We said it's an intraday simultaneous break lasting only 60 minutes. And now the 60s have exhausted. So that changes what we know by reducing the amount of signals we have in force. So right now on the daily, we have an outside bar, in force continuation. The week is a 2 down in green. The month is a 3 already. So we don't have much magnitude that we can expect extra. Unless it's a 2 up again, then we can continue to look for that daily to stay in control with the 60 reconfirming that. So if you're in any of this stuff and it starts pulling back a little bit, that's where you play defense, you reduce, and then you can see, is that going to keep going or not? If you wanted to add to it on a 2 up, you could. You can do whatever you want. But really, that's going to be about it from me today. I know we didn't make the Strata Time report list or Strata Tech list, but a little bit past time. So I'm not going to have that today, but what I can tell you is healthcare's, we're not seeing any of that following through, so we can remove that. Although we saw that setting up, it did not do anything there. We can say the materials definitely have that magnitude still. We can say Dow Jones is the strongest sector as it's a 2-2 reversal on the day. And then IDBM would be second strongest as it's inside in green. So Dow Jones is 30 stocks. You can look at that stock list and go through that the rest of the day. And we can also then say financials are 2-2 with the Dow Jones. So you have industrials plus financials recovering. And then you got the 2s going 3 tech, 2s going 3 Qs, 2s going 3 SPY, which is much stronger at trying to go 3. And the way we know if that 3 is going to occur is how many 2s and 2s going 3 you have. So the last thing we're going to do on the stream here is just scan and see how many 2s we have on the day to the upside. So we have about 223 2s up on the day. You'll notice we have 226 2s down. So the fact that everything's 2 down in green tells us we have more 2s and 2s going 3 to the upside. We can also scan, do we have 2 down to full time from continuity? How many of those things are recovering? So these 23 names are potential outside days with the rest of the market. So if you're going to look for potential 3s, you'd look here. And then you can also filter by what we know is stronger. So industrials, you can filter by that. These are all the potential 3s there that have not occurred yet. We can also go in financials and say we've got a few in there as well. And then materials, we have IFF, which hasn't gone 3. Most of the other ones already have or just don't have full time from continuity. In the future, we'll be able to scan the 2 down in green, but currently we can't without using the tag here, which does not update during the candles. But that is going to be about it for me today. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're interested in more, as we already talked about, check out stratealerts.com. And if you are interested in when that boot camp goes live and the pricing and whatnot, you can go and check out the stat trading Twitter, x.com. It's going to be stat_trading. And we also have a ton of clips and educational stuff from each of these streams that we post for free in here all the time from both me and Sarah. So if you follow that, you can get clips of the streams, and it's mostly like highlights and like important things we talk about intraday. So that'll be about it for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your trading day, and I will see you guys bright and early in the morning for those that are in stat. And if you're not in stat, I'll see you guys in tonight's nightly vid.